Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Andy channel. This video is a video suggested by a few of you, and it's a topic that I wanted to personally cover as well. That topic is whether or not Tory and Robby are going to get together in Season 4 of Cobra Kai. To answer that, I would say yes. Okay, I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Okay, hold on, I'm kidding. Let me get into more detail about why I think yes, and I'll also tell you why they may not. Regardless, I don't think it's going to be as simple and easy as Miguel and Sam getting back together. Robby and Tory were both done dirty by those two, and I'm sure they both have trust issues even before all this crap happened. So before I get into how I think they will get into a relationship, I'm going to talk about why they are a good fit for each other. Firstly, I'm going to say that they both have a crappy home life. Robby's dad abandoned him practically, and his mother is never around to even take care of him, so he pretty much raised himself. Then Tory has to take care of her little brother and sick mother while working 2 jobs to even afford the place they have. So she also probably raised herself since she's taking care of other people. That's one thing they have in common, and Tory was the first person to recognize it. That will be important later, so remember that. Another thing they have in common is their anger issues. They both have a hot temper and tend to lash out without really thinking of the consequences. You can literally take the school fight for example. Tory started that whole fight out of anger, while Robby finished the school fight out of anger by, kicking Miguel off the 2nd floor railing. The third thing they have in common that nobody really mentions about Tory is their need to seek mentorship. They desperately want to find a mentor to look up to and to be their parental figure. It's understandable considering they both didn't really have that growing up. You may ask, why do you think Tory wants a mentor? My answer to that is actually a question. Why else would she join Cobra Kai? This is something Aisha asked Tory in Season 2. She asked why she needs Cobra Kai if she already knows how to kick ass. Tory's response was a joke about kicking boards blindfolded, but the truth is that she just wants to be a part of something. She first saw Cobra Kai at Valley Fest and saw how badass they were, so you could really say that she just wants a cool distraction away from home, but she takes all of Kreese's lessons to heart. What I mean by that is even if she didn't initially look for a mentor, she eventually found one and is sticking with it because of that. Anyways, my point is that this is another thing Robby and Tory secretly have in common. Now that we know that they both have a lot in common, why does that make them a good match? Aren't they both a little unstable for a relationship? Probably. That's one of the reasons I don't think they would get together, but let me explain why it would also work as well. For one thing, they are literally in the same boat with their situations. I just got done explaining what they have in common, and having those things would probably bring them closer. Sam and Robby are almost complete opposites. Actually, you could say the same thing about Miguel as well, but my point is that Robby will be in a better relationship when he's with someone who can understand him better. You could say a lot about Sam as a girlfriend towards Robby, but she can never understand him completely. She doesn't know where he's coming from with his problems. I mean that in regards to his mother. Sam was trying to be there for him when his mother decided to go to rehab, but she could never put herself in his shoes. Someone like Tory can. What I'm saying is that Tory and Robby can be their own support mechanisms. I can see them getting through problems together and being there for each other, unlike any of the other relationships on the show. The only couple that I can personally say has that connection is Daniel and Amanda. They are probably the most underrated couple in the show, and definitely the best. Yes, they have had their problems, but they also come around in the end. Amanda has always been Daniel's voice of reason in the show, almost like Mr. Miyagi. I think Robby can be like that towards Tory. Miguel tried to be like that, but it didn't work out because he never really proved himself to be that kind of person. Or at least to Tory. I don't think he cared as much for Tory as Robby cared for Sam. That's just my opinion though. Robby was always keeping an eye on Sam and putting her first. Except for that time when he lied about the medal, but he was willing to hurt his relationship with her father to protect her. This all kind of goes back to my video on why I think Robby was a better boyfriend than Miguel. I have some pretty good points in there, and I go into detail about how Robby was as a boyfriend. This all just correlates to how he will act towards Tory. Now the way she will act towards Robby will probably also be similar to how she treated Miguel. Very protective, but I feel like he would be more of a rebound to her, like Miguel was to Tory, which would also suck for Robby. If she starts dating Robby, then I could totally see her rubbing it in Sam and Miguel's face. Or maybe it'll be Robby who does that, but I can't really see him doing it as much. It's not a question of them getting together that gets me curious, it's the question of how they get together that I wonder about the most. Personally, another reason why I think they wouldn't is because of how many people predicted that it would happen, but I feel like the show is pushing them together. If not as a couple, then definitely as a strong connection or a good friendship. I doubt they would just leave them being friends, but I don't see this relationship being as forced as some people may think. If they do get together, then I don't think it will be until mid-season or close to the end, almost like they did with Sam and Robby. The writers like to take time to develop the characters' relationships, and I think that's a good thing. I do think Miguel got with Tory way too soon, but look at Hawk and Moon or Dimitri and Yasmin. Let's get into how I think Tory and Robby will start their relationship in Season 4. So like I said initially, I don't think they will get into a relationship until much later into the season. I believe the first half of the season will be them building up their chemistry. If they got together in episode 2 or something, then it just wouldn't work. They're both going to be our go-to characters in Season 4 when it comes to Cobra Kai's side of the story, because who else is Tory going to talk to? Kyler? Yeah, but I mean really talk to. I really don't see Kyler having deep conversation with somebody, but maybe the writers will surprise us. It already seems like the writers have been building up to the connection between these two since Season 3. First when they talk to each other at the community service place, and then again at Cobra Kai. You see the camera points to both of their facial expressions when they are in a scene together, regardless if there's anyone else. Take Robby stealing the snake as a good example of this. As soon as everyone starts laughing and congratulating him, he immediately looks at Tory to try and get a reaction out of her. All she does is smile in approval, but that scene shows that Robby cares about what Tory thinks and thinks of him. The same thing happens on Tory's end when Kreese tells him that Miguel and Sam are working together. She looks at him to seek his disapproval. That doesn't indicate anything romantic, but does indicate that they are building a base for a relationship. They aren't enemies at this point, and if anything, they're friends now. Season 4 will continue to build on this base and develop them to become really good friends. Maybe even best friends, but there's definitely some attraction there, so someone is going to make a move eventually. My guess on this is actually Tory. I think Tory is going to be the one to make the first move, but Robby will pull back like he did with Sam. Tory has initiated everything when it comes to Robby so far. She has started just about every conversation with him. The only time she didn't is when Robby asked her what they were doing at the zoo. I may be reading into it a little too much, but I think that line indicates that Tory is going to be the one sucking him into Cobra Kai. That question shows Robby giving her a little bit of trust. Nobody else has given him a reason to trust anybody else except Tory and Kreese. Anyways, I think this is important because it would also mean she's the reason he wouldn't leave Cobra Kai. Kreese and Terry Silver could be super cruel to him and make him realize that Miyagi-Do is the right way to go, but he won't abandon Tory. He knows what that is like and won't do that to her, so maybe he may be Tory's redemption. He could prove to her that she can be good as well. Maybe instead of Miguel being the chosen one, it's actually Robby. He's the only one who has been in Miyagi-Do and Cobra Kai now. I'm getting a little off topic here, but I think this is important to my point of Tory and Robby getting into a relationship. It just takes the story in many different directions on what they can do with each character, rather than them just being friends. So like I said, I think Tory will be the one to initiate the move, but I think Robby will reject it at first. 1, he probably won't think he's ready for a relationship. 2, he's still being protective of himself and wants to be alone. And 3, he still has feelings for Sam. This is honestly how I think they will balance everything out in Season 4. Season 3 really made you know who the bad guys and good guys were. This can be their opportunity to make it how it was again when the show first started. Robby can be honest about how he feels and won't get into a relationship with Tory immediately because of how he feels. Unlike Sam, he might actually wait and Tory will respect that. Meanwhile, Miguel and Sam could be having a messy relationship and do stupid things. This season could make Robby look like a better boyfriend if they do what I think they're doing. It will make the dynamic a little different, might make Robby a little more likable, hopefully. If Robby admits how he still feels about Sam to Tory, then that will give him a 1-up against Miguel since he used her as a rebound. So at first I think things will be a little bit awkward between them if he admits he has feelings and rejects her, but I think Robby will eventually realize he feels the same and let her know. It will be much like the situation that happened with Sam, but it will probably happen differently of course. Either Robby is going to be a good influence on Tory, or Tory is going to be a bad influence on Robby. It could be both, but for starters I think she will be a bad influence on him. They might end up stealing together and shit. Who knows? Under Kreese and Terry's influence, he will definitely revert back to his old ways. Since Robby is a good kid, I think he will eventually realize that what he's doing is wrong and snap out of it. Daniel and Johnny will definitely try to keep talking to him and influence him, but to no avail. It's going to take something big to bring Robby back though. There's going to be a line that Cobra Kai crosses that makes him second guess himself. That might happen a few times, but eventually, he's just going to have enough and reach a breaking point. The first few times will be with the other students in Cobra Kai and doing some bad things probably. They might try to vandalize Miyagi-Do again and Robby definitely won't want to do that. I might make a separate video on this because I'm going a little off topic again, but this all has to do with the question on Tory's influence in all this. I believe if they're dating, then Robby will be more okay with this type of stuff until something crosses the line. If they're not dating, then I still see a similar outcome happening, so it all really depends on what the writers want to do. I see two outcomes from them dating. One where Tory gets redeemed because she sees how Robby overcame his demons and wants to be with him, or two, it all just becomes a shit show and Tory becomes worse. I really hope they make it work with the first option, but I personally see the second one happening more. The first one will only work if they really build up their relationship, in my opinion. Whatever they have could be a fling or something really sweet. I personally think there's going to be a prom this season, probably close to the All Valley time. I especially think this because it is going to be the last All Valley tournament and drama will really be building up. This will probably be Season 4 Episode 8 or 9. I see two outcomes to this. No, actually maybe three. As we know, Tory and Robby are both expelled from school, so they couldn't go to a prom if there was one. Obviously Miguel and Sam are going together, and Tory's not going to be okay with that. Cobra Kai is definitely going to crash the prom for them, and it will be a chaotic prom brawl. That would be a very cool scene. The question I have is if Tory and Robby are going to be involved in that. Personally, I don't think Robby will, but Tory might. If they're dating, then I can see Robby throwing him and Tory their own prom in the Cobra Kai dojo as something sweet. I've had this scene idea in my head ever since I thought of a Cobra Kai prom. My scenarios are either that Cobra Kai plans to crash the prom with Tory knowing about it and Robby not being involved, or Tory and Robby are not dating and they decide to crash the prom with them, or they are dating and still decide to crash it. There's so many different scenarios and only some of it matters if they are dating. It all really has to do with what the writers are going for. You might think that throwing them together is too much, which I completely understand as well, but looking back at my points earlier, I definitely think they're pushing them together. But yeah, regardless, that's how I think they will get together, what could happen if they do get together. To answer one more point in this video that I completely forgot about is how Miguel and Sam will feel about them dating. Miguel will be more disappointed, and I think Sam will be bothered a lot by them getting together. We already see how bothered she was by Miguel dating Tory, and he did her wrong. Robby didn't really do anything directly towards her. I already got into that point in my Robby video. This will definitely create tension between Miguel and Sam, and she will eventually have to make a decision. Regardless of how she feels about Robby romantically, he was still her best friend before they even started dating, so she's looking out for him regardless. She still cares about him, so Robby and Tory dating will really stir up the drama. And even if they don't date, there will definitely be some jealousy there with Tory and Robby becoming closer. So to officially answer the question on whether or not they will get together, my answer is yes. I do believe that's what the story is calling for, but then again, this is my opinion from what I've seen and what I think can happen in the show. What do you guys think? Do you think Robby and Tory will get together? If so, then how? And what will their dating result in? Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed this video, then don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to see more content from me. If you have any video suggestions, then leave them down in the comments below. I'll definitely get to them. Until the next video, peace.